Hey everybody! So sorry, I was a bit confused there because I have this still playing also on my browser and I have to mute me here. So I thought I played the intro 2 times just now. Okay, let's switch back to this one here maybe, or this one. Here we go. Alrighty, good. Hello and welcome to today's live stream regarding the release of the US inflation data. I hope everybody can hear me well. I see we have some people already also in the chat. As always, guys, of course, if you have any questions, you can leave me a question here live in the chat, or if you're watching a recording of this, of course, also underneath the YouTube video here in the recordings. Let me just quickly turn off my phone here. As I said, super confusing if I see myself also on my screen. All right, so a special event today, really special, and special not only because once again inflation data is going to be super important today and in the upcoming weeks on what the market is going to do. Also very important because we did a little bit of an experiment today. I want to do some live trading today. And the trades were chosen by the Academy Telegram community. So we have a Telegram community. If you're not already part of that, you will find underneath the video a link to join that, of course, totally free. And I asked there yesterday which positions the community thinks I should trade on the live stream today for the inflation release. And I said the two positions that get the most votes, I'm going to trade. Most votes were for long Bitcoin. So that's going to be our first position later on here today. Second one was short Bitcoin. I'm not going to trade that one, obviously, because, I mean, that would be as if we are flat and do not have a position. The third highest amount of vote got long S&P 500. So it seems a little bit like the community is thinking that the inflation data today is going to be a little bit better than anticipated. So let's see later how that plays out. What I want to do now first, before I want to go over with you over some metrics, what to expect, why this is so important, and so on and so forth, I want to quickly prepare my account here. So what do we have here? Around 280. So we need to transfer a little bit onto our margin trading US dollar account. I actually want to enter our current bonus code as well. So as every month for our Telegram community, and when I do live streams here, we have a bonus code which you can use to sometimes get a nice percentage off on trading fees. This time we give out a little bit of deposit bonus here. And the current code is MAYROCKS. So I'm going to just activate this now, successful, and then I need to fund my account. And maybe let's put 50K on it. So we have a little bit an amount to play with. And go to wait there, and it gives us here this bonus of $3,500 US. TIFA also, so that's nice, some extra margin today. Things can get really wild, really fast in situations like this news release. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit of extra buffer, of course. You can do that as well. Just go to your account, use this promo code Academy Bunny. MAYROCKS is the current one, this one here. And then you can get also 7% of bonus onto your deposit. Good. Now let's go quickly. We still have 25 minutes, so actually not quickly. So we can talk a little bit about inflation and why this inflation release, in my opinion, potentially is going to be so important. And so, I mean, I've said this during almost all of the inflation releases in the past 6 months, but they are very important because if you've been following me for a while, I always said, starting last year in September, October, this is peak inflation. Inflation is going down now. Market should go up again. And with the bottom we saw there, especially in Bitcoin at 16,500 or 15,500 US. I think I nailed it pretty good. So of course the question now is how is this year going to continue, and this is going to be highly dependent on what the Federal Reserve Bank is doing, because all of you probably have been noticing we saw a great increase in the US interest rate, also in Europe, from here back in on the 1st of February 2022 at 0% or 0.25% to now 5.25%. And we've now reached something that I want to call a terminal rate. Terminal rate because the current inflation rate, which at the last reading in April came out at 5%. So that's the number here on the left, the orange one. Or the orange line, is now lower than the interest rate at 5.25%. And what the market now is expecting is that the Fed maybe stops at least further hikes of the interest rate, so that the interest rate is going to stay flat at 5.25% for the upcoming months, at least until maybe Q3, late Q3 or early Q4 2023. And a lot is going to depend probably on today's inflation reading. So the markets are expecting again 5%, so the same number we saw last time. Why that is, I want to decipher a little bit for you after this. 5% again, core inflation 5.5%. So anything, if this is hit, or the inflation reading maybe even comes in a little bit less, let's say at 4.9% or at 4.8%. I don't even want to say something like 4.5% or something like this. I think that's going to be impossible. We are going to see an extreme bull run. So this is probably what the community is actually expecting here at the moment. So this is the situation, a reading of 5%, 4.9%, 4.8%, where those two positions that the community shows, long Bitcoin, long the S&P 500, are exactly the right positions, because that would mean that the probability of the Federal Reserve not further increasing the interest rates in the next reading, which is going to be in mid of June, is much higher. However, if we see a reading of above 5%, so even if it's just 5.1%, 5.2%, anything above that is going to be actually quite critical already. The contrary is going to happen. We are probably going to see, I don't want to say a market collapse today of stocks and cryptos, but there's going to be some severe volatility. Why? Because it increases the likelihood that the Fed is going to say, hey, inflation is coming a little bit higher again, so we have to continue our path to reach our goal of 2% inflation, and we can only do that. The only thing we can really use to battle inflation are the interest rates. So the probability of the Fed raising the interest rates, hiking the interest rates in June is going to be much higher again to 5.5%. I think really today there's kind of like a 50-50 percent chance. I already saw here already a question also here from Francesco, if I'm convinced with the result of the survey. I'm going to say a little bit for later on that, Francesco. And so what to expect today? And of course you can always guess, right? You can guess like, oh, how the inflation rate is going to be. You can do the deep dive into trying to get all the numbers at the source, and there are lots of elements that go into the inflation rate, and not all of them are also necessarily public and not necessarily easy to access for us individual traders. However, there's a website which I came to really like called trueflation.com, and what they do is they monitor the inflation rate in real time. What is the difference to what we are seeing from the Fed? So everything you are seeing here, for example, the reading today, the inflation rate, is going to be the inflation rate of April. So last month, April 2023 compared to April 2022. So they are lagging, obviously, with the official reading a little bit behind, while this website of the Solvis Trueflation monitors the inflation rate in real time. Now, what they are doing currently, the inflation rate, according to them, is at 3.7%. However, you have to be a bit careful. As I said, this is a real-time reading, so it doesn't necessarily really reflect what was going on in April. And as you can see here in April, actually, their own reading. Let's go change here to the year-to-date chart. In April, we saw actually, according to them, also the inflation rate going a little bit higher again. And this might be reflected in today's reading. So I actually wouldn't be surprised to see something like 5.1 or 5.2% with whatever it is going to do to the markets then. So that's a possibility. We need to be prepared. So if we later enter those trades shortly before the publishing of this, so in basically 20 minutes or 15 minutes when I'm going to open the rate, this is something we need to keep in the back of our head, that we are dealing here with April data. And if we want to believe the real-time data of trueflation, we could actually see a little bit higher inflation coming in. They kind of also summarized this very well in this text here, because they said basically there are a couple of things to monitor. Yeah, inflation rate has been coming down quite hard. I mean, from 9.1% to 5% in the past 7 months. However, we are seeing a mixed bag, so to say, when it comes to GDP growth, so gross domestic product, the growth of the overall economy in the USA, which slowed down from 2.9% in Q4 2022 to only 1.1% in Q1 2023. And this is interesting because this plays a little bit into those hands of the traders out there, the market participants that are expecting some kind of a recession, maybe just a short recession on the market. Of course, if the economy doesn't grow as fast anymore, maybe it's even shrinking. That's, you know, the textbook definition, of course, of a recession. However, one component that still is very strong in the USA, that's the labor market. And the labor market being so strong is a little bit a pain in the butt of the Fed. And that sounds always to me, you know, when I first heard this, a little bit like, my God, you know, this is like, why should that be bad? You know, but it is bad because if the labor market is strong, it usually means that people have more money in their pocket, so they can buy more, and more demand on, for example, groceries, for gas to gas up your car, for housing, and so on and so forth, drives up the prices as well. If the demand is not so high, prices have to go down. So that's really the thing. And we saw also, if we compare here April 2023, for example, the oil prices to, this is not on the chart here, oil prices also a little bit higher, and oil actually is one of the biggest drivers. I really love this here. Let's go quickly through it. I don't want to bore you too much with fundamental data. I know you want to see some action in trading, but since we are in the Trading Academy, I think it's important also to understand, you know, what is going on there in the background. So the categories overall, how inflation is measured, are those food, beverages, housing, transport, utilities, health, and so on and so forth. The most important being here with 15.3% food and beverages. Sorry, it's not the most important one. Obviously, the most important one is housing, 23.2%, transport, 19.8%. I think then food and beverages, 15.3%, and so on and so forth. So the big, let's say, the big three to monitor always are those categories. How are food prices and drink prices developing? How are housing prices developing? I think really very important also is something like how are prices for rent, for example, developing, and how is cost for transport developing. And this, of course, one major thing there is the prices for oil and gas. You can see this is, for example, here, gasoline prices. Here also in April, we saw quite an increase here in gasoline prices. Again, we saw housing coming down, thankfully. Wait, was that the right one? Sorry. Yeah, renting dwellings, absolutely. We also saw prices for food and beverage overall going a little bit above again. So if you want to ask me now, my personal opinion, but please, this is just an opinion. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like 5.1 or 5.2%. And yeah, then we will be back to square one a little bit, because that would mean that we are going to see probably something like this here for Bitcoin. I mean, we had quite a boring phase to it, let's be honest, here since mid of March. at a high level. We have this extended sideways range. Soon as we break out here over 30,000, we come back. Same here, seems like around 27,500 US dollars, quite a good support. But this a bad reading, 5.1, 5.2% could also very quickly lead to a situation today where we are going to try to test this yellow moving average here. So basically like this, which is the 100 days moving average at the moment. So that's a possibility. That would also mean here for stocks, S&P 500, a bit of the same picture like we're seeing in Bitcoin, right? Good news is there, what I said a couple of months ago, this breakout here really was a breakout out of the bear market. However, we didn't immediately enter bull market. We've entered a sideways market. And of course, here also this area up here at 4,150 points seems to be very, very difficult for the stock market, the overall US stock markets to overcome. And also here, the picture is a little bit better lately because in Bitcoin, we had the other days now a bit of turmoil because the transaction fees have come up by quite a bit. Topic we want to cover in another video maybe has to do with something with NFTs and so on being mined now on the Bitcoin chain, which are congesting a little bit the transactions. So Bitcoin has been underperforming the S&P 500 lately. However, I could very easily imagine a bad number today, 5.1, 5.2%, to go down here and at least test first the moving average, the blue one here, the 50 moving average. Maybe if we are unlucky, even the 100 days moving average, which also here is the yellow line. So this potentially is something that we could expect. And this brings me actually back now also to your question. Let's see if I still can find it. Because I think it's a very fitting question here. So from Francesco La Tatara, I hope I pronounced that right. Welcome to that crypto show, Francesco. Hello, Dirk. Are you convinced of the result of the survey? So, of course, Francesco is referring to this survey here. And long Bitcoin seems like a risky move to me. What do you think? I have to agree with you. Probably you noticed that already. I'm a little bit more pessimistic today. I think we still could see a little bit of an uptick here with resulting in what I just showed you in the stock markets, in Bitcoin. Of course, this also counts for every other cryptocurrency or stock out there. So it doesn't really matter if you trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, S&P 500, NASDAQ, the German DAX or whatever, and so on and so forth. It's going to be a general move. However, never say never. And I think I said this is a great experiment, in my opinion, because it kind of tests the power of crowds. So this was my intention actually behind that. That's why I wanted to do that, and I want to stick to that. Just because the community or the majority of the community has currently a different opinion from me doesn't mean that I'm right. Just, of course, I've been doing this for a long time, for 25 years, as you guys know. But that doesn't mean that I'm correct when it comes to news releases. News releases are always a gamble. I can, of course, make up my mind. I sometimes take position also. I think you remember a couple of months ago, we had a great live stream where we made like 3,000 or 4,000 US dollars because I had a position that the inflation reading is going to be worse than expected. This time, it's more on what I see. Let's say I'm biased into the direction of that the reading could be worse, but I also could be wrong. So what we want to do now first is we want to take our positions. So as I said before, I used our promo code here, MayRocks. So I got 7%, which gives me a buffer of an additional 3,500 US dollar TIFA because I deposited 50K on the account. And yeah, then let's go and place our trades, I would say. And we want to go to crypto here. Bitcoin, where are you? Here we are, Bitcoin. So I'm going to go not too crazy here, of course. I hope you understand that. Just because I have 50K on the account doesn't mean I have to risk it all, right? So I'm going to buy 1 Bitcoin here right now. I'm not going to place a stop loss or take profit. That's always the thing, in news trading. if you place a stop loss, take profit, especially with stop loss, you can be knocked out of the market very, very fast. It is one of the rare occasions really where I do not immediately work with a stop loss. You can see here our margin impact. So we need like 139 US dollar TIFA on our account. We have that, of course, but the effect later on is, of course, the amount we win or lose, hopefully win later on. So send the order, confirm. Okay, you see we have bought here at 27,756 and 30 cents currently. Not currently, this is our buy price. Second one we want to trade today is, of course, the S&P 500. Here we go. How much do we trade there? Let's see. Then let's go with 25 contracts, which means then that every point up or down is going to win or lose us $25. I think that's pretty good. 1,000 US dollar TIFA margin we need for that. Send order, confirm. And you can see my available margin here still at 97.8%. So we are very well off there, not in the danger that we get kicked out of the market immediately. You can see I didn't operate here with leverage actually at all. I mean, the position size we are trading here overall now is, let me quickly calculate this, 25 times 4,120.2 plus the 27 divided by 50,000. So currently I'm using now a leverage of 2.6. I think that's not too bad. That's something still reasonable. You know, if I would use now leverage of 1 to 50 or 1 to 100, of course, the likelihood of us getting knocked out of those positions would be much higher. Let's go short, Attorney Faye says here. Yeah, I mean, if it comes to my personal opinion, this is the trade to take today, but it's a dice roll always. So just because somebody is biased in one direction doesn't necessarily mean they are right. Let's see, we still have like 7 minutes time. Still. Diego with a nice question, in my opinion. Dirk, do you think that the inflationary movements will impact the BTC price less and less, or will it be a constant? Well, Diego, the thing is, as long as Bitcoin is perceived as a risk-on asset, so meaning that whenever the market is looking for security, it's not going to buy Bitcoin. When the market is not going for looking for security, but is looking for more for return on investment, then they are going to come and buy Bitcoin, obviously. The thing now is, in my opinion, is this going to change eventually? I think so. Maybe it's going to change during the next cycle. It's especially going to change if people like Baijal, I think is his name, you know, the guy that betted like Bitcoin is going to 1 million within 90 days, or I think probably he only has like 60 days left now, which would be the case if we see something like a hyperinflation in the USA, which is not going to come, in my opinion. Then Bitcoin is probably going to decouple from that. I mean, that's the final goal, no? And this is the thing. Everybody that, or most people, the majority of people that start investing in Bitcoin, hearing about Bitcoin, that go down the rabbit hole, sooner or later end up that they buy Bitcoin because they want to have something that, first of all, the central banks cannot take away from them, their government cannot take away from them, and that they want a little bit of freedom. And the next step is here really companies and countries coming to that realization too. Is that going to happen now in 2024, or let's say the next 2.5 years, so the next bull cycle? Is this going to happen later? I don't know, but all I can say with that opinion, and you know, buying a little bit of Bitcoin whenever maybe you have some left over, no matter of a price, you would have done this for the past 6, 7, 8 years, you probably would be off very well. At least it worked very well for me. Question from Ken Kibon. Is there a possibility of strengthening the US dollar against the euro today? Yes, there is. We are going to see the euro dollar. Where do I have it? Here it is. Going strong again. Let me switch back to the daily. This one is old already. And it's going to go strong again when the reading is going to be worse than expected. When we are probably worse than expected, so inflation higher than 5%, then we are going to see also here probably a move very quickly to 109, maybe to 108.60, where this 50 days moving average is at the moment. Although it could be the other way around at the moment. I'm sometimes surprised how the market perceives the US dollar at the moment. However, I mean, this area at 111 seems to be quite a strong resistance there. However, it's not my preferred trade, I must say. If you want to trade this event today, I would more concentrate on either Bitcoin or the S&P 500. I think the impact is going to be clearer there, in my opinion at least. But I like to be proven wrong on this, of course. I want to switch back to the 5-minute chart. Yeah, let's go to the 1-minute chart so we can see the action here in 3 minutes. Good. Wow, 3 minutes left still. I'm not coming into stress today. That's nice, no? Let's quickly see here. Oh, by the way, guys, if we are talking about like trading signals or trading insights, I'm also sharing my personal trading insights, trading alerts on Telegram. You can also find a link to that. It's also done on Telegram underneath this video. It's also for free for you if you're a client of PrimeXBT. So just try it out, no strings attached. There's also a video I did on how to use this trading alerts. These were the last ones now. We shorted Ethereum at 1,979, and you can see we are at 1,850 now. So that was an extremely good signal. Same here with the Nasdaq, 13,264. We went short 13,204. We are now, so we're up to 60 points there as well. If you have interest in receiving that, do yourself a favor, go to the description of this video and click on the corresponding link, and then you're all set up to receiving some of my personal trading alerts. So these are really things I trade myself also that I share for free with you guys, and there are no strings attached other than you please have to be, of course, a client of PrimeXBT. Good. 2 more minutes. Maybe I should zip on my coffee here a bit. Somebody today watching coming from like a very weird time zone. I mean, very weird in terms like it's now very late or very early for you. Like, I don't know, 1 a.m. at night or 4 a.m. at night or something like this. Because I know we sometimes have also people from Asia, especially Indonesia. Indonesia is very close to my heart because my wife is Indonesian. That's why I spend a lot of time there. I love the language. So if you are from Indonesia, selamat datang di That Crypto Show. And yeah, let's see. Now we're seeing some action here already. I don't want to miss the release. I want to go. 20 seconds to go, guys. This is exciting. Three. And here we go. Oh, we see. Oh, I was just about to say first reaction up. It is up, the first reaction. How about the S&P 500? Ooh, also big candle to the upside. Core inflation as expected. What is with the normal inflation here? That's the more interesting one for us. Daily FX is a little bit slow again. Maybe let's see here the on trading view, the economic calendar. Maybe it's faster. 4.9%, guys. So the inflation better than expected. I mean, that's great. Yeah, it proves our economy, our community is smarter than me. I would have bet in the different direction today, but we can see we are up by quite a nice margin now. 400, 500 US dollars now up here with our positioning. Question, of course, is now, look at the S&P 500 here. I'm going to switch back here maybe to the 50-minute chart here. Also looking very nice. So the question, of course, now is, shall we stay in that or shall we go out of that? What do you guys want to do? This is your position. Shall I take the profit? Shall I stay in it? I mean, I'm pretty sure if I put the stop loss to break even now, that sooner or later we're going to be stopped out, because normally the first direction, the first move of the market is one that is into the wrong direction. Nonetheless, I'm of course very, very happy. You know, guys, let's do the following. We have really a nice profit here on the S&P 500. We're going to take this, close position, confirm. So we made like $430 TIFA in profit there. We're going to keep the Bitcoin position maybe open. I'm just going to leave this open now because it always aids us in seeing the effects, like how is the reaction going to be now an hour down the road, like 5 hours, 6 hours down the road. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to close that position then tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. CET. All right, the Bitcoin position, and then we'll see, like, was that a lasting effect into this direction, or has the market come back? Should we now see the position moving into the break-even territory? I'm going to close it as well. You know, let me just put the stop loss. It's not smart to keep a position open just because you want to show something. So let's put the stop loss here at 27,800. Like this, so that we cannot lose with that position as well anymore now. Why am I showing here, by the way, the S&P 500? Let's go back to crypto here, Bitcoin, US dollar. So there's our stop loss now, 27,800. Now this is our entry. Stop loss is here at 27,800. Should we fall beneath that, well, when the position is closed, we didn't lose any money, had a little bit of profit. Anyway, the S&P 500 trade made us a profit of over $400. So great. I have to think about something now, how to repay you guys, right? Maybe we do a sweepstake or something, and then we cash that back to the community, I would say. Diego opened a long trade at 27,744. Well done. Quite a boost there. So did you go in after the release, or then you really had quick fingers, my God. Yeah, probably, you know, I mean, here, nice candle there. So let's see, this is going to be exciting. I don't think a lot of people really expected that. After we are done today, I have to call some of my friends who are still working at investment banks, how they traded this. Much, much better than expected. Maybe, Diego, you can share on social media once you close the position, hopefully still in profit, how much money you made, and then you just tag us here as the PrimeXBT Training Academy, because, you know, this is always the best advertisement then we can have. Very happy to see that some of you seem to have made quite a nice amount of money. Yeah, I totally share this. LOL plays training news is so exciting and scary at the same time. It is. And usually I do refrain from it, because over time, when you've done this for a very long time, you kind of get the habit of staying on the sidelines of news events like this, because, like I said before, it's always a dice roll. You never really know what is going to happen. However, today was a great day. Of course, and this is one of the cases where the dice roll kind of happened. I see somebody crying here. What happened, Tanny? Did you? You were the one writing let's go short, no? Before, I think, were you the one? Yeah, you were the one also writing. So you did go short, but you never know. I mean, very often the first move we see in news events like this into the first direction is the wrong direction. So it's often that we see the price coming back. What is going to be important now, if you want to continue to trade with this, of course. Let me switch back. Is maybe even here to the 1 minute chart, is to see like where did we leave off. So this area here at where's my brush? The last candle before the news to release. So somewhere between 27,700, 27,750. This, if the price really comes down now, so this is the area that is interesting. If it's a typical news event, what we could see is now price coming down, testing this area again, then bouncing off. It could, of course, also go through. Other possibility is that it turns around already before that, but that would be a typical move. So if you still want to trade this, maybe that's an area where you want to have an eye on it. And of course, no guarantees here, but you guys know that. I know a lot of you have been traders for a long time. Let's look here at euro dollar. Yeah, of course, euro dollar going higher now. So this was bad news for the US dollar going weaker. Why is US dollar going weaker? Because when people seek risky assets such as stocks, such as cryptocurrencies, they have to usually sell the US, or they have to sell US dollar bonds, which is like one of the biggest markets in the world. If you sell US dollar bonds, you usually have to sell your US dollars as well and convert them. So this is why we see euro dollar going higher, but not such a super huge move in my opinion. I mean, we're talking about 50 pips. Of course, here on the 1 minute chart, it always looks like overly dramatic. If we go back to the daily chart, you see it's just a daily. It's just a normal move, you know, nothing special about this. All right. I mean, let's see where this whole thing goes then today. It's going to be exciting. I'm probably going to write later also something still in the by the way, we just bounced. It's also, I want to show you this quickly here, actually, guys. I just noticed that. This is Bitcoin, right? I want to add one more indicator, the EMA. And it's gotta be a 100, length 100. Let me just make it here in a different color. Let's go with pink, and I make it like very thick. Oh, that's the daily chart. Sorry, I need to go to the hourly chart. That's very interesting also here. Look at what just happened. Is it my drawing? No. So Bitcoin, come on here. Bitcoin went up and turned around here at the 100 exponential moving average. Exactly. See the candle here? The bullish candle turned around. This is how this is actually one thing that you most of the time only see in news trading like that. Those short price reactions and the turnaround points are very, very often at those moving averages, especially the 100 EMA, 100 exponential moving average is one of those. And I just noticed this because of in one of my systems, this is always the zone where I like to take profit. If you have been receiving my trading insights there, you know probably what I'm talking about. All right, guys. So I was already waiting for this question. What do you think of the coin meme Pepe? How far do you think he will have his moment of glory? You know what? I mean, I can always understand it's fun to invest in something like this. The problem I have with it is usually when the broad majority of people start picking up on a trend like this, and this is usually when you see suddenly coverage on that on media, like on the crypto media. I've been suddenly in the past days seeing a lot of my Google News popping up something like, after Pepe, this is going to be the next 100x coin. I wouldn't trade it, if I be honest with you. Why? Because it's not an investment, it's a meme. And I understand that it's funny. I mean, if you want to throw like, I don't know, $100 at it, go knock yourself out. Fun, of course, you know. But it's always dangerous to read something like, what was that, like this one guy who turned supposedly $300 into a million or billion or whatever that was. This is not going to happen, guys. So if you have fun with it, for sure, you know, if you like to gamble there a little bit, and let's say I don't know, you have like 10,000 US dollars and you want to throw 100 US dollars at something like this, go for it. But do not do that like with 1,000 or 5,000 or all of your money. The likelihood of you losing that money is 99.99% in my opinion. I mean, I'm quite connected in the crypto scene. I'm connected very well with institutional traders. I don't know anybody who traded this and who takes this serious, honestly speaking. Nonetheless, I totally understand if that is fun for you guys. And go ahead. I mean, I invested a couple of weeks ago or like 2 or 3 months ago also in some AI coins, because I think, hey, this could be like the super trend now in the next bull cycle. So buy them. I bought them, and I think I threw like 500 US dollars each at them. And not going to tell you now which ones those are, because I don't want to influence you when it comes to investing in alcohol. It's just gambling. But if one of those coins goes up by 10x, nice, you know, then I earn 5K or 4.5K. Good. All right. So this is me, the serious investor, now speaking again. Yeah, I feel like your papa or your teacher telling you, no, don't do that. Be reasonable. You know, this is not what I mean. I understand that it's fun, of course. Good, guys. All right. This has been an awesome live stream. I enjoyed this very, very much. We are still up here on the Bitcoin trade. I'm going to update you later, of course, on Telegram again. Until then, thank you for attending this live stream. If you made some money today with it, really, tag us with a screenshot on Twitter, on Facebook, on social media. That's very much appreciated. Sending our love to all of you, and we are going to see each other very soon again. And you know what comes now? Always remember to use a stop loss. Take care.